Welcome to the Radiant Edge Podcast, the podcast for soul-led experts building bold, aligned businesses. I'm Wendy Burge, and I'm here to help you create a business that feels just as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. Because you're not here just to sell, you're here to lead movements, shape ideas, and amplify your radiance. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. I hope everybody's been well. I've been looking forward to recording this next episode. My guess is that today's topic may be relatable to many people who are listening. Maybe you're a woman who has built other people's empires, but you're struggling to build your own. Maybe you're the expert with 20 years of experience who feels invisible next to flashy newcomers with better Instagram and LinkedIn curation. Or maybe you're a woman who is a seasoned professional with hard-won wisdom, balancing a personal life and success, yet desire a more spacious and fluid way to work. Then today's episode is for you. There's a white elephant showing up in my DMs and on my discovery calls, and it's the quiet moment between public success and private frustration that I'm hearing from women who are struggling with marketing their consulting and coaching businesses. I'm here to set the stage today and tell you that beginning at entry-level marketing is costing you the authority your clients want to buy from you. When you decided to invest in a marketing program to grow your consultancy or coaching business, the first thing you were told was to niche down and define your client avatar. This speculative process probably kept you spinning for days with, who is it that I actually help? What is it that I actually do? And at no point did this approach even consider to ask, where does your expertise live? As if your decades of experience should be crammed into a one-page customer profile. I can tell you this approach is the wrong place to start. When women decide to move into their own authority, especially if they're older, stepping out onto this new path as a consultant or a coach, marketing has probably not been your friend, if we were to be honest. And I'm going to tell you, you're not failing at marketing. Marketing is failing you. This entire industry is built around a model that assumes that you're starting from zero and that you need to prove yourself and be loud about it to equal those out there with more content, because more content allegedly equals more clients. None of that is true. If you're starting from zero and have no experience, absolutely, that makes sense. But you're not starting from zero. In fact, many of you who are listening to this podcast are starting from a place of mastery. And to sell mastery requires a completely different approach. I know this because a few years ago, I was a lead customer success coach behind a 7-figure online coaching program. And in that role, I was often in one-on-one situations supporting people as they were drafting and crafting and developing their positioning. A constant theme I heard was how, despite helping others in their own industry and building their catalog of authority, proficiencies and having credentials and accolades, and to structure out their offers was very challenging because they couldn't see how valuable they were, and the marketing strategies that were being presented really watered down in some respects all the experience that they had. And when we would sit and talk, they often told me they felt like they were the best kept secrets. It was very challenging for them to see themselves, because they had always been the strategic genius behind the throne and never the queen themselves. So when we got into a place where we needed them to claim their authority and find their voice as an authentic leader, there was a disconnect and a mismatch between the type of marketing out there for them that this program was having us work with versus how their real deep wisdom and experience really needed to come across at the level that they were at. They weren't starting at net zero. What's challenging and frustrating for them is they can't seem to find their marketing translating the value that they're bringing. So when we apply traditional marketing strategies to clients at this stage of life, it just feels completely inappropriate. Their expert positioning can feel forced. The thought leadership content can feel very hollow. And their personal brand can feel like it's a costume that really doesn't fit because they're competing with new people in their industries in this competitive market space. And what I was teaching them really needed to match their experience and resonate with their energetic design, and really not the other way around. This was incredibly notable for the women I was working with. They were resistant to what we call bro marketing, that loud, intrusive, and often out of alignment kind of pitch and sell. The women were just resistant. They did not like it. They didn't want to be loud and seen that way. And it wasn't by coincidence that I started seeing some patterning, and especially the energetic design of that type of marketing for women at this stage of life was a complete disconnect. And it forced me to have to think about a more disruptive approach that was better aligned with my clients at this stage of life than what was being sold to them inside of this coaching program. Now, here I am really considering, what does marketing need to look like when you are not starting at net zero? You are stepping in at a stage where you have the experience, you've been doing work that is high level for many years, or maybe you've accomplished and solved something that you now want to bring into the market space. This level of mastery requires a completely different approach. In truth, this bro marketing was spending so much energy externally trying to get them visible in a competitive market space instead of considering a really important question. What authority and resonance were they stepping forward with now? So back to my story. I had spent the last year from that role really immersing myself in some new studies, specifically human design, which is called the science of personal differentiation. And from that, I started to develop what I call the Radiant Authority method. And I specifically crafted it for accomplished women like myself who are done performing and are ready to lead. What I mean by that is that a lot of this marketing out there is really meant to keep us hustling and exerting a lot of energy in a direction that's not focused. The Radiant Authority method allows women to confidently step forward into their wisdom using 4 steps to transform their experience into powerful positioning with clarity of value and an unshakable ability to take aligned action. So let me break this down for you. We first want to start by reclaiming your narrative. That old way of presenting marketing was to describe what you do. This positioning lessens your value. However, the new shift begins with your ability to start declaring who you are. Your decades of experience aren't just your credentials. They are actually your competitive advantage. When you extract the golden threads from your professional journey and weave them together in an unshakable authority positioning, you no longer need to compete with people who are just starting out. This stage of life allows us to lean into our wisdom and the roles of authority that we've held, and restructure it into a sense of remembrance of the wise woman. And especially the wise woman you've become, and you get to back your authority by claiming your unique human design. We want to bring you to where you are now and release that feeling that you must be competing for visibility with inexperienced people who are just louder. The second step is to realign your offers. Many times, the current offer women have are Frankenstein creations built from some data or guessing. Maybe a framework they've seen somebody else use, just a plug and play template, or maybe that competitor analysis of what sells, but it's really not capturing expertise. So instead, realigning your offers allows us to explore your value-based solutions, and we build foundations to begin with, stripping down your offer to its essence in order to call out your zone of genius. Once we've got you focused on the things that you do so naturally well, this allows us to reinforce how it holds high value and that you can charge for it. Energetically, it creates a natural resonance in your marketing efforts. And now when you move into this space of authority and mastery, you have the ability to name it, claim it, and then build around it. And we have this incredible business model that supports you and all that you bring to your clients. So when we're talking about redesigning your model, I want you to forget about the funnels and the launches and all those aggressive sales cycles for a minute. Your business model should work with your nervous system, not against it. And what I'm recommending is how to help people recreate a sustainable revenue system that really honors their energy, their values, and their life based on the individual human design profile that they have, as well what I call the radiant archetypes. And I developed these in alliance with the human design profiles, and I've broken them down as well into 12 characteristics that we possess inside of our radiant authority. And once we identify your type and profile, then we can start building out your new offer and model. At that stage, you can choose to have launches, funnels, or evergreen methods, but this time you're building it in alignment with your design and bringing that to the market space, not reacting to the market and feeling like you need to compete against that loud bro marketing. The fourth step of this framework is to speak your radiant truth. We understand visibility is important, but it's also about becoming more truthful. And when your messaging comes from a genuine authority, not what I call manufactured expertise, it cuts through the fog of buyer confusion like a lighthouse. And your ability to lean into your own radiant authority with that inner wisdom shines like that light and directly targets those people to call them in. They love your messaging. They can feel the resonance of the warmth, conviction, and as well your intentionality of really understanding them and their problems. And that inner leadership that you have now becomes the experience within your design and allows you to create thought leadership content that is aligned with you, your prospects, and your clients. It is connecting and it's engaging, and it's just so natural to who you are. It's really the way that you're meant to communicate value moving forward. These 4 steps increase focus and flow, and I have found them to be game changers when working with clients. A side benefit that I started to realize is that this helps my clients get out of their own way too. They can finally see that they are enough and they do not need to compete from a net zero starting point in their marketing. I want you to get out of your head around feeling like you're not worthy of claiming where you are right now. I don't want you to compete, hustle, or overthink that you aren't enough at this stage. I'm just really done with it, and I'm sure you are too. If you are a woman at 40, 50, maybe 60 years old, and you're still out there putting your gifts into the world, I have just this final thought. You didn't build decades of expertise to hide it behind humble language and discount pricing. You didn't accumulate your wisdom to compete with the newcomers who confuse noise with authority. And you didn't earn your scars to apologize for having them. You built your expertise to use it, you earned your wisdom to share it, and you've survived the challenges to help others navigate theirs. The world needs what you know, but it needs you to claim it first. So stop waiting for permission, stop looking for proof, stop wondering if you're ready. You've been ready, you just forgot how to remember. And that's why we're here together, to change this, to continue to position your radiant authority with respect to your journey. I hope you have found value in this, and I'll speak with you next time.